Okay, so the last patch this Tuesday broke absolutely everything in WoW. I was kinda just coming back to the game as it happened. Even LBI right now is not working just right. I'm playing Era, by the way. But look at this. Apparently every mechanic in Naxxramas just broke. Let's see, Anubrekan has no spikes appearing. Maexna, the web wrap, is targeting the main tank. The main tank is teleporting during the high Gandens. Hateful strikes hitting the lowest HP tank instead of the highest. Okay, how the f do you kill Patchwork? Because people managed to do it. Thaddeus failing to toss tanks properly during phase 1. Rasubius boss dropping aggro when taunt debuff is active. How do you do? I mean, actually, you got like 40 warriors. It sucks, but it should be doable. It shouldn't be that hard to do if you get a good guild. 4 horsemen, okay, this is the one that people were complaining about the most, that it was like almost unkillable. Marks causing incorrect threat percentage drop. So like this doesn't tell like what's happening. Apparently, if you mark a boss in the 4 horsemen, the aggro drops. Like, ah shit, I died in the game, I wasn't looking. Time to delete my character and make a new one. Oh! So the 4 horsemen were basically just like dropping aggro incorrectly, right, because of the bug, and they were running around and like, I don't know if you did 4 horsemen before, but they got like an AoE debuff, so if you stack them, like if one of them goes loose, it's pretty much a wipe. So like, I don't know if any guild actually successfully killed 4 horsemen with the bug going on yet. That would be very impressive. If you kill 4 horsemen when the threat is not freaking working, that's really impressive. Like, you clearly know what you're doing. I don't think it's possible though. One guild did it. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, like if you change the mark on one of the mobs, like the act of marking, like putting a mark on them, would just make them drop aggro from the tank instantly, and the boss would just run away into the raid and kill everyone. Yeah, so the 4 horsemen were the one that people consider pretty much impossible, that this is not happening, you know. So like, I don't know about the other bugs, like Saphiron, incorrect number of blizzards. It doesn't sound that bad. You know, you get more blizzards, that kind of sucks. You gotta like move away more, but like that should be doable. Kel'Thuzad phase 1 is inconsistent or incorrect. I wonder if that's too long or too short. I don't know, the guy could have made a little more effort describing the bugs. And Grobulus can pull aggro off the balcony when clearing slimes. Oh shit. So like, does it just run all the way up, or does it pull everything on the way? That's wild. So yeah, basically Naxxramas was unplayable. I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what's happening, but like, it was pretty much unkillable. I'm sure if you got like a very motivated guild, like he's saying, you might be able to do it. It's not happening, man. And on top of that, there has been a bunch of problems, like people lost their macros, people lost their action bars. Not everyone, to some. It's weird. Every single add-on broke. Like, this is not a major patch, but they tried to implement the token into the classic client, probably for TBC. That's what I believe is going on here. I am not sure. I can never prove it. I think that's what's happening though. I think they are doing it for TBC, the token. But like, implementing the token into the game literally broke everything in the UI. And how spaghetti code is the game? Okay, I lost it. How spaghetti code is this game that a mark can somehow break an encounter? How is that possible? Because like, I am trying to imagine like, how could the code of marks interact with the actual code of the mechanics of a boss? How would those two things ever interact? Like, is a mark like a debuff in the back end of the code? That sounds so ridiculous. You would think that marks are like a UI element and they have nothing to do with a boss, but somehow they do something to the boss itself in the server side, apparently. And sure, like this today, the boss broke because of like a bug that somebody introduced, but the fact that this bug is possible, like, to me, it just says like this game is so spaghetti, is unbelievable. Like, I don't see how that could happen. Like, and we're never gonna know. That kinda sucks. And there was like an 8-hour maintenance on Tuesday too. So it took him, it ended early. It ended like in 4 hours. But like, that was also weird. Like, they were doing a big patch in the backend. That was not like a small thing. The add-ons broke, and when people told me, "Oh, Medina, the add-ons do not work. You have to talk about this," I was like, "Man, the add-ons break every patch. That's not news." Little did I know, like everything broke. Well, no. So Iltim says the fact this is a 20-year-old game and they find ways to break it still impresses me. That's the problem. That's not the irony. That's the problem, right? Like, it's an old game made in 2004 code by a bunch of drunk people, and like, it's a mess. In a modern game, marks breaking a boss should not be possible, because you would make the code for a mark different than the code for like the boss. Like, it would never interact with each other. Like, this is like vestigial stuff from 2004 that doesn't make any sense. Like spaghetti. Like, the reason that bmangos, like private servers, are like relatively bug free, and stable, and they don't need any layers, is because they had to make the entire server code from scratch. Like, why do we have layers? That's a great point to bring up. We have layers in Classic because when Classic was made, multi-core processors didn't exist. So they coded the entire server code to work on a single core. Back in vanilla, that was fine because the servers were small, and it was still very laggy. Don't forget about that. Like, in the vanilla days, official Blizzard was super laggy too. And retail is also fine, because what happens, okay? This is what Blizzard did. They had two choices. We have multi-core servers. Do we wanna spend a lot of time and money remaking all the server code so we can support multi-core servers, or can we do virtual servers? That is, making a bunch of tiny servers inside a processor. And that's what they did. Like, layers are just a tiny server, a single core process in a big server, in the actual hardware. It was like a duct tape way of making multi-core servers work with WoW. That was their way of like easily and cheaply like split a server into multiple cores. And for retail that was fine, because retail is a bunch of tiny instances, right? But in Classic that doesn't work, and Blizzard never wanted to actually remake the code for the server. That's why some crackheads in Russia with bmangos have somehow better infrastructure than Blizzard. Like, I talked to, like, I cannot say the name, but I talked to one of the persons that ran one of the biggest servers before Classic. Like, we're talking like at least 8,000 people concurrent in the same layer, single layer of course, private server. He told me it costed him $300 a month to run a server of that size. It's just the code. The code is like what makes Classic suck and be laggy and have layers and stuff. Like, it's not a hardware problem. Like, consumer CPUs can apparently run the servers just fine. Like, he was spending that much in like power and like bandwidth or something. I don't know. I am not a server guy. I kind of got sidetracked with the whole layer thing. Like, that's the reason this game breaks all the time. It's an ancient code and they never actually bothered remaking the code. Like, across these 20 years, they had so many opportunities to like remake the source code for all the Blizzard server infrastructure, and they never did. And that's why private servers are kicking their ass. And don't get me wrong, it is expensive to remake the Blizzard server code. I'm not saying it's like a trivial 2-minute thing. Like, I had like a different private server developer tell me that to make bmangos work, they had to call a physics professor from like the top university in Czechoslovakia, sorry, the Czech Republic. That's my grandfather talking. Because that guy, they had to figure out the equations for how gravity works in the game. If you played all private servers, there was this bug where you would like jump off a table and you would randomly get one shot by fall damage. And apparently like World of Warcraft has super complicated like coordinates or something. They had to get a physics professor to make bmangos pretty much. I am sure it would take a lot of effort and money to make bmangos, like for Blizzard, right? To make like a similar technological advance. But like at this point they are gonna have to sooner or later, right? Like they cannot keep kicking this ball forever. I was watching a group in Nax, it was still bugged. Oh my god. Yeah, so they say you gotta soft reset the dungeon or it doesn't work. So yeah, okay, let's talk about that too. I'm sorry, there's so much stuff going on here. I lose track. Okay, so then comes Kaivax, like the community manager, and he makes an announcement. And you would think, this is all we're fixing, right? He says, we are gonna fix stuff, fix that bug, causing multiple inconsistencies with spells during encounters. That's the entire patch notes, not a single explanation, not a single like, oh, this is what happened, it's not happening anymore. The guy put like, literally, every single boss in Naxxramas is broken, one line. That's all the explanation we get. We can pray it got fixed. This doesn't inspire confidence, bro. They did a reset. Okay, I don't know, maybe like it's not fixed then. That sucks. Like we had a similar problem in MOP. This is when I quit MOP actually, Mincy. That Blizzard Master Loot, one day randomly, one patch, Master Loot stopped working. You could not Master Loot, period. And imagine like I was doing a GDKP and I got ninja'd, right? That I rage quit that day. And like somebody asked Cyrene, like on Twitter, like, Cyrene, why does Master Loot not work? And he was like, oh yeah, we fixed it, but you gotta wait till the reset. So like, and they allowed it to be broken for a week because they didn't wanna reset the server, Mincy. And like, not only Master Loot, like every other loot system that wasn't group loot didn't work. You couldn't even free for all. And it took him a week to fix it, not because it actually took a week to fix, but because they didn't want to reset the server. So I bet you that's what's going on here, like the fix is not going to happen until they reset the freaking server. This sucks. Yeah, that's the Blizzard technology we got. Some crackhead in Russia is making like more advanced software than Blizzard. But I guess I wanted to talk about this because like there is a lot of like assumptions on why the game is broken all the time. And yeah, sure, it's really easy to go Blizzard lazy, Blizzard stupid, whatever, but like that's the real reason. Like this is a mess. You got like the wiring in your house is just like a bunch of tangled wires with no tags and you gotta guess which wire it is. Every time you gotta put something, and like over 20 years they kept adding stuff and adding stuff. Battle.net support, Facebook support, whatever like they wanna put on it. The token, and every little update they throw more stuff at the mess, and like it's still a mess, right? So like the mess gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it got to the point where every time they wanna change something, something else breaks. Now, could Blizzard do a lot more in like testing their own game so it doesn't break? Yes. They released their raids 2 weeks early because nobody bothered checking for the dates on like on the commit version. Like they released mob raids a week early on accident. Like ruined the race to wall first pretty much. That was like the utmost negligence on that. But like not all of these problems are negligence. Not all of them. Most. That's what I wanted to get here. By the way, boys, we are doing a fresh arc in Era. We're gonna be doing some casual GDKPs with the chat. So if you're down for that, subscribe, check out the Discord. We're doing a vote for the name of the guild actually. I don't know what we are gonna call it. I might call it Glissy or I might call it Bot Babe. We need more name ideas. But yeah, check out the Discord if you wanna join us. I think it's gonna be really fun. I gotta waste like a month of my life until TBC. This is the best way to do it, man. Subscribe, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.